Doom. Doom. Doom, 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 doom. Doom. I love Doom. As you might have gathered if you've watched many of my videos, it's my favourite game of all time. It blew my tiny young mind when I first played it, and I believe you could make a case for it being not only the first truly modern video game, but also the most important game ever made. But I'm not going to gush about Doom, I've done enough of that. In fact, even though Doom is one of my favourite, well, things ever, a Doom game was also responsible for perhaps the biggest disappointment of my gaming life. As I've mentioned before, I didn't have a Doom-capable PC when it first came out. For a long, agonising time I could only play it at my friend's place, so I could never truly sate my Doom lust. Then, at long last, I got a PlayStation and a copy of Doom. The PlayStation version was a little different to the PC version. It was slower paced, some levels were simplified, the sound effects were reworked, and the music was something else entirely. Where the PC had high adrenaline MIDI rock, the PlayStation version had subtle atmospheric soundscapes incorporating distorted demonic chants and crying babies. All this taken together makes the PlayStation version of Doom a very different beast to its PC counterpart. Whether it's an enhancement or a downgrade is open for debate, but I absolutely loved it. Best of all, in my eyes, was the sheer amount of content. It had almost all the levels from Doom 1 and 2, plus the additional 4th episode from Ultimate Doom, which I'd never played before. It even had an ultra-secret level, the discovery of which was one of my proudest gaming moments. All those levels kept me going for many, many months, and honestly I never really got sick of them, but I did hanker for more. So when I heard of Final Doom, I knew I had to have it. 2 new 32 level episodes, it said on the back of the box. 64 brand spanking new Doom maps. Given how much enjoyment I'd been able to wring from the first game, I knew I was in for a treat. And so it proved, for a while. I was ecstatic to have new Doom maps, and I raced through the first 30 levels, enjoying the demon slaughter and looking forward to seeing what surprises the next 30 levels had in store. But you may already know where this is going. The back of the box had lied to me. There weren't 2 new 32 level episodes, not in the PlayStation version of Final Doom. There wasn't quite even one, technically speaking. All up there were 30 levels, consisting of a selection of maps from the PC version, plus a smattering of so-called master levels, which had been released as an add-on for Doom 2. I was bitterly disappointed. It's tough to express how intensely I loved Doom at the time, and how much I craved new content. And 30 new levels was nothing to be sneezed at, but I felt I'd been shortchanged, that I'd been cheated out of something I desired so much. For a while I hoped against hope that the other levels were there, that the back of the box was right after all, and that all I had to do was find a secret exit that would, implausibly, open the way to all the missing levels. One map, called Ballistics, and oh I remember it well, even had a mysterious exit that I could see, but I could never figure out how to reach it. I spent countless hours on that level trying to find a way to that tantalizing button. I knew it was ridiculous to hope that somehow that exit would take me to the missing levels, but hope I did. And, of course, it was a forlorn hope. I found out later that exit was accessible in deathmatch only, and just took you to the next level, like the regular exit. I read in a gaming magazine that the official word from Sony was that the back of the box was a typo. One hell of a typo. Fortunately, not too long after that I got a Doom-capable PC and a proper copy of Final Doom. But to this day I can remember the bitter disappointment of missing out on 30 or so new Doom levels. The point of this story, and yes there is a point floating around somewhere, is that even today it is a continuing source of joy and wonder that anyone who owns a copy of Doom 2 on the PC can download hundreds upon hundreds of new levels with just a few clicks. And many, if not most of those levels are bigger and better than anything I could have imagined in the mid-90s. The me from 25 years ago would have had a heart attack from the excitement brought on by such a concept. Hell, the me from now still finds it pretty damn exciting, although not fatally so. So yes, I still have the same craving for new Doom levels that caused me to be so disappointed decades ago, but now that craving can be fully sated. I haven't played every single fan-made map pack in existence, I'm not sure any one human ever could, but I've played most of the ones that have made the biggest splash in the mapping scene, and today I'm going to be playing through my personal favourite. If you saw my Game of the Decade video, you know that I'm talking about Sunlust, a collection of 32 maps released in 2015. It was created by Rubix and Dana Babinga, no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and I'm not really involved in the mapping scene heavily enough to recognise those names, but hey, if they created Sunlust, they're okay by me. Now, I'm going to be playing on the easiest difficulty, I'm Too Young to Die. If that's disappointing to you, well, I understand, but this is definitely not the channel for you. My Doom skills were forged in the mid-90s, and they've only got rustier from there. And to be honest, Sunlust on the easiest setting is at least as tough as Doom 2 on ultraviolence. I'm also going to be enabling mousehook, which is arguably cheating. It does make certain challenges, like defeating the final boss of Doom 2, a damn sight easier than intended, but many newer map packs seem almost to be designed with mousehook in mind. I definitely can't think of any situations in Sunlust where it gives you a massive advantage. To my mind, it's really just a nice quality of life adjustment. One thing I will do, though, is try to avoid save scumming as much as possible. Actually, no, I can't even promise that. I'm afraid after all these years I've developed an almost pathological need to hit the quick save button every time I open a door or pick up an item. But I do promise to highlight every death and every reload so the full extent of my crappiness can be known to all. Right, with all that out of the way, let's get into it. First level, Chasing Suns. Like all good first levels in Doom, it's compact, not overly complicated, and just a good simple warm-up. It gives you a super shotgun, which I appreciate, as Doom isn't really Doom if you don't have one of these in your arsenal. It also contains a secret of my favourite sort, the press a button and run like hell before the door at open closes again type secret. It's always satisfying to use your ears to figure out just what the hell the button actually did, and then making the run in time is a sort of challenge I relish. Not too tough, you can retry it over and over, and if you've cleared out all the monsters there's no real pressure. Thanks to that secret and the very generous mega armor, I make it out of the level with 200% health and armor. A good start. Next level, Down Through. It's another compact level, and indeed it's kind of a trademark of all these maps that, with a few exceptions, they use space very efficiently, at least relative to some of the real behemoths of maps that have been released over the years. And that's fine by me. It adds a real sense of interest and discovery when you find yourself crisscrossing through the same area, each time from a different perspective that increases your understanding of just how intricately and fluently the levels have been woven together. Anyway, this second level sees the introduction of Doom's most terrifying foe, the Archvile, at least on this difficulty setting. Ultraviolence features one on the very first level. But even on I'm Too Young to Die, this second level includes two of the infernal bastards. Fortunately, there's sufficient cover to make the first one more of an annoyance than a real threat, and the second one can be safely sniped to death from a distance. Which feels a bit cheap, but if I can take out an Archvile cheaply, I'm gonna do it. The third level, Forgotten Shrine, features some really nice atmospheric music, which is another trademark of Sunlust. A lot of it consists of MIDI arrangements of tracks from classic games, including this one, which is from the SNES RPG Secret of Evermore, and was actually composed by the legendary Jeremy Soule, who would later go on to create the truly iconic themes from the Elder Scrolls games. In any case, this level also includes a couple of classic Doom traps, the type you can see coming but are compelled to walk right into. They're not too terrifying though, not yet. This one is made a bit less lethal if you notice a switch that can be shot to lower the barriers blocking your way. And this one, a classic oh crap I'm suddenly surrounded by demons trap, is really just an excuse for some circle strafing demolition. Level 4 is called Sol, that is S-O-L, the name of our star. You may be picking up on the sun theme. And this level features another great piece of music, this one an actual original composition by a Doom mapper and musician by the name of Stuart Rinn. Good stuff. There's a lot of lava here, as befits a level named after a sun, and I like the way the designer gives you a pretty clear objective. Find all the keys, then obliterate all the demons standing peacefully on the other side of these bars. Of course, they don't stay peaceful for very long once you actually get close. Nope, once you're locked in with them, they start blasting away, and dodging their rockets and green hellfire blobs is pretty damn tough. Fortunately, there's no shortage of ammo, and there's a megasphere if you take too many rockets to the face. Oh, and after a while more revenants teleport in, and if you're standing in the wrong place, like I was, you might just find yourself launching rockets into a revenant 2 feet away. Which hurts. Fortunately, it hurts them more than you, but even so I exit this level with very low health and armor. But I'm still confident. I mean, it's only on the easiest difficulty, right? Well, yes, it is. But the fact that the next level, Gear Up, starts with you in the middle of an open area surrounded by demons that are as yet oblivious to your presence is an ominous portent. So it's time to be a bit more careful, a bit more cautious as I hunt down every single health pack I can find. But this level really likes to keep you surrounded, and I get down to less than 20% health. There are no keys on this map, instead you need to collect a certain number of armor pickups on pillars scattered throughout the level. Find them all and the exit will be accessible. But each one individually also tends to do something nasty, for instance releasing an archvile into a cramped area flooded with damaging lava. Slowly but surely I manage to clear away all the enemies, and miraculously I don't die. But the exit isn't open. I'm missing an armor pickup. It takes a good few minutes of aimless wandering until I realise this is actually a door, and the final pillar is revealed. Hooray! Next level. Neogeraru, or something. I have no idea what that means. Is it maybe the Japanese name for the old Neo Geo console? Literally all the Google results for Neogeraru refer back to Sunlust, so I'm guessing not. Whatever it means, it's another level that starts you pretty much in the centre of a demon kill zone. Once they notice you, there's not much to do other than run for cover and pick them off as efficiently as possible, while hoping the corner you've run to doesn't get swamped by enemies determined to gouge out your eyes and eat your brains. Both the music and visual aesthetic of this level lean towards a sci-fi theme, and once you obliterate the final room filled with imps and a friendly archvile, this theme is emphasised by the elevator down a neon-lit shaft to a decidedly high-tech looking level exit. This colour scheme of green and orange is actually something that becomes more pronounced as the game goes on. Keep an eye on it, there's actually some intriguing environmental storytelling going on. Well, with a bit of imagination anyway. Next level, Total Enclosure. And oh boy, this one kept me occupied for a while. Not because I died a lot or anything, I did come close a couple of times, but I'm sticking to my promise to show any deaths I incur. No, in fact this level is quite quick, if also rather dangerous. If you just want to get to the end of it, it won't take more than 5 minutes or so. But the end screen showed I only had 38% kills, so clearly I was missing out on something pretty significant, and I couldn't let that lie. Turns out this secret switch opens the way to a large outdoor area with a central building, inside of which can clearly be seen a BFG, a weapon I haven't actually managed to find up to this point. There's one that can be seen from the very first room of the very first level, but guess what, there's no legitimate way to get to it. Those bastard designers. Anyway, this BFG is securely locked away. But here's the thing, I have played through Sunlust before, a couple of years ago. And I know I uncovered this secret and got the BFG. But now I can't figure it out. I know it's got something to do with all these other secrets scattered throughout the level, each of which contains a single health pickup and a mancubus. And I think I've got them all. The secrets tally shows I've got 8 out of 9 secrets in the level, and I'm assuming the 9th is the BFG itself, but the door remains resolutely closed. I think for sure I've got it when I find this other hidden switch that opens a path to a bizarre room with a walrus in a cage for no apparent reason. But no, it does nothing. It doesn't even count as a secret. For more than half an hour I trudge around the map looking for that one little switch or secret that I've missed. Eventually I can feel my brain losing its hold on reality, and it starts to seem like I've been running around this level forever. So before my mind unravels completely, I decide to just give up and move on to the next level. But I'll be back. Probably. So, level 8, Onira. Another map that drops you right in the middle of a bunch of hostiles. And another close call, as I dipped to 20% health before getting back to the maximum courtesy of 2 superchargers nestling side by side. Ideally I wouldn't have to devour both of them at once, but when you suck as much as I do, you take what you can get. Then there's this room, which is kind of glitched out. I shouldn't really be able to damage these enemies, as they definitely can't hurt me. I guess this is a rare occasion where having mouse hook enabled does allow me to execute a bit of a cheese strategy. It's no big deal, just another small slab of guilt to add to the pile that sits rotting in the centre of my mind. Later in the level you're presented with this lovely scene. Don't you just love the calm before the storm? Everything's so peaceful. And right now it gives me a chance to reflect on how much easier this would be if I'd figured out how to get that BFG in the previous level. I get down to 9% health, heal up, then immediately take a rocket to the face, because I'm such a pro and I like to give the demons a fighting chance. And finally there's an archvile just to round out the level. Honestly, at this point if a level didn't include at least one archvile, I'd feel like I was missing a friend. A horrible, sadistic friend who's on fire and wants nothing more than for you to share his pain. Level 9, Enclosure, huh? Okay then. Apparently the name is a reference to Hopi mythology and a blue star that will signal the apocalypse. What do you know, another star reference. And this level certainly is blue. Actually, it's boringly monochromatic and the layout isn't anything special. It's not a bad level by any means, but it's not a standout. The music though is another killer track. Certainly gets the pulse pounding. Next level, Maru. Technically it's quite similar to the previous level and only a little more interesting. It does culminate however in a largish battle against 2 cyber demons and a bunch of imps, plus a few barons of hell thrown in for good measure. This is the sort of thing that will become increasingly common and increasingly deadly as the game progresses. But at this stage the plentiful health and ammo makes the fight a little one-sided. But this is level 10, only a third of the way through. The game marks this milestone by unavoidably killing you at the end of this level, forcing a pistol start for the next map. I shouldn't have been hoarding all those cells. Level 11, Cave Culture. And honestly, the pistol start adds some welcome spice to proceedings. I've had some close calls, but to be fair, the sheer amount of health and ammo the game throws at you has so far been enough to eliminate any real sense of threat. And hey, I'm okay with that, because I have a fair idea of what the latter parts of the game have to offer. And in any case, the sense of threat is already ramping up. This level likes to teleport enemies around, and not always within your line of sight. Sometimes you'll hear that distinctive teleporting sound, but be unable to pinpoint its location. It really does create a sense of paranoia. The level ends with another large-ish battle, but this time there are enough enemies in a small enough space that getting overwhelmed becomes a real possibility, even with the generous health and ammo. Plus there's a platoon of chain gunners off to the side, and they can chew through your health in seconds if you let them. Which I don't. Not this time anyway. So it's on to level 12, Dangeresque. Which actually sounds like a relatively innocuous name. Is it really dangerous? Nah, it's just Dangeresque. Quasi-dangerous. Adjacent to danger. Semi-safe. In actuality, it's kind of a misnomer. This is probably the most dangerous level yet. It's certainly the most intense so far. It's a very small map, but there isn't a part of it that isn't overlooked by ledges containing a delightful assortment of hell's most enthusiastic murderers. Plus, every button you press and item you pick up unleashes another torrent of demon-y death, including a number of pain elementals, hell's most irritating denizen. And of course there's the now almost obligatory cyber demon battle to finish with. Fortunately the 2 megaspheres make it a more pleasant chore. Next up, level 13, the Ruins of Scania. Presumably nothing to do with the truck manufacturers of the same name. One of the first things you'll hear is the mating call of the Spider Mastermind. Actually, it's unlikely to be a mating call, more like a murder call. Then again, aren't mating and murder inextricably linked with some species of spider? And honestly, does it matter? Whether the spider mastermind has sex or death on its mind, it's unlikely to end well for you. So there's that to look forward to. In the meantime, we have a refreshingly well-lit map. Of course, darkness is one of Doom's greatest weapons, but it is nice to be able to see clearly on occasion. In all seriousness, too much darkness can be really wearing and stresses me out. My stress levels are also alleviated by this Revenant, who seems to want to make a post-death break for it. Go, Revy, go! Just do it! Don't let your dreams just be dreams! Wow, he's really going the distance. Nah, quitter. Now, the rather rare invincibility power-up makes an appearance, and if Sunlust is giving you invincibility, you know something serious is about to go down. In truth, this large-scale battle would be winnable without it. The sheer number of imps form an effective meat shield against the Spider Mastermind's chain gun. But hey, it's there, might as well make use of it. If nothing else, it allows you to blast rockets into your own face with impunity. Of course, that's not the end of it. An Archvile makes an appearance and starts resurrecting the army of imps. Not for long though, it's easily dispatched. And that's basically it for the level. There's one more Archvile. Yawn. A single Archvile is kind of blasé by this stage. Should be careful what I wish for. Level 14, Troglodyte, and another nicely atmospheric piece of music. I shouldn't be surprised it's good though, it's an adaptation of a tune from Final Fantasy VI, which happens to have one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. The environment is getting creepier too, as we delve deeper into the caves and the crisp, clear sunlight disappears. It's dark and gloomy and all very subterranean, and large areas of the ground are covered with damaging slime. And it's a genuinely mysterious level. I get through it in only 4 minutes, but I've only killed half the enemies, and there was that mysterious yellow door, even though I never found the yellow key. I should probably explore more fully, and perhaps I'll come back before the end, but right now I feel I should press on. If I was going to set myself the task of uncovering every mystery in this whole Mega WAD, this video would be very long indeed. That said, I do want to take this opportunity to give Sunlust credit for the sheer amount of intrigue it packs into its maps. This isn't the first level with some seriously deep secrets waiting to be uncovered, and I'm sure it won't be the last. This is actually one of the things I love most about Sunlust, and Doom in general, the exploration. The combat's great of course, but it's always composed of basically the same elements. Level design though, well that's where real creativity can shine through, and it shines very brightly indeed in Sunlust. For now though, on to level 15, Strength and Anger. If you're a Doom veteran, you know that level 15 means one thing above all others, hunting down the secret level. I'm not sure if it's done out of tradition or if it's an inherent part of the ancient Doom engine, but level 15 of any Mega WAD almost always contains an exit to the secret level. And over the years, for whatever reason, tracking down those secret levels has become almost an obsession for me. I've downloaded quite a few map packs that I haven't played, except to warp immediately to level 15 and then try to find the secret level. Usually I'm successful. If I've learned nothing else, I've at least learned the tricks mapmakers use to conceal this most rewarding of secrets. At the moment, I can't specifically remember where the secret exit in this level is, but I'm confident I'll find it. In the meantime, the setting for the hunt is a rather eerie level with an equally eerie soundtrack. Apparently, this atmospheric little tune was composed by Rubix, one of the two creators of these levels, so, well, good for him. A man of many talents, it seems. And on top of the oppressive atmosphere, this is actually a rather tough level. The ever-present traps are getting more lethal. In fact, speaking of lethal... well, there it is, my first death. From 148% health to 0 in a little under 4 seconds. I really should have busted out the BFG. And of course that's what I do 30 seconds later, because that's how long ago I saved. I told you I had an addiction to that autosave key. Good old F6, you'll always have a place in my heart. This time things go much better. Okay, they go a little better. Well enough for me to not actually die this time, at least. There's an annoying jumping section to navigate. Well, no, not technically a jumping section, there's no jumping in Doom. Whatever it is though, it's annoying. Especially since it takes me an absurdly long time to realise that all you really need to do is line yourself up, hold sprint, and press forward. It also takes me an absurdly long time to figure out how to get the blue key. I mean, it's right there. Maybe there's a switch to lower the platform? I go back through the entire level looking for one, but I find nothing. Oh. Turns out you can just walk up along the side. Hooray for me. There's one more Cyber Demon battle, and it's another dangerous one. Or at least it would be if I didn't go into it with my BFG blazing this time. I learn my lessons quickly. Wait, no, that's a complete lie. I'm a certified idiot. But this lesson, at least, I've taken to heart. BFG plus Cyber Demon equals good. And here's the exit. Or is it? Well, yes it is, but it's not the one I'm going to take. Instead, I'll ignore it and hit these buttons scattered around the exit area, which opens the way to the secret exit over here. This turned out to be a disappointingly straightforward secret exit to find. I'd expected better from such innovative and creative level designers. Oh well. So this is the first secret level, Birds of a Feather. Like a lot of Doom's secret levels, it's substantially different in tone from the rest of the game. It's quite small and sparsely populated, with only 56 enemies. And none of them are all that threatening. Most of them are trapped on pillars or in cages and can be taken out from a distance. It's not all smiles and sunflowers though. You can't go more than 30 seconds in this level without an archvile trying to set your world on fire. Ultimately though, this level is more like a mood piece than a serious challenge. The design is surreal as the entire level floats in a sea of clouds and darkness and is dominated by torchlit towers. It's a good map, a welcome diversion from an increasingly brutal main game. The second secret level, and they always seem to come in twos, is rather more stressful. It's called Post-Coitus Doom for reasons that elude me. It's another small level with a relatively low enemy count, but the enemies here are rather more dangerous than those in the first secret level. The first thing you'll see, and hear, is a group of archviles looking down on you from above. Your first instinct might be to illuminate them from the relative safety of your current position, and that's valid and certainly understandable. But it's also actually a valid option to ignore them for now. You'll just have to keep their position in mind so you don't find your pants suddenly on fire, regardless of whether you're a liar. You also have to endure hearing their softly terrifying calls as you navigate your way around, and that's no mean feat. Even today, the sound of those things has the power to creep me right out. The rest of the level is fairly straightforward, but you know how it's going to end. And even if you don't know, the fact you're presented with roughly 50,000 cells should be enough of a clue that you're going to have to engage in some serious archvile extermination before the level is over. Even with the virtually unlimited BFG ammo, and even if you took out as many archviles as you could at the beginning, this can be a dicey fight. There is cover, but it's narrow, and if you get flanked from both sides you can be nuked into oblivion before you have a chance to respawn. Fortunately, this time I make it through without getting too close to death, and so it's time to head back to the plain old regular levels. And I think it's also time to take a break. I don't know about you, but much as Doom is my favourite game of all time, there's genuinely only so much of it I can take at any one time. I honestly consider it the most stressful game there is, and the closest thing to a true horror game. And this is true even on the easiest difficulty. Especially in a set of maps like this, created by a couple of guys who truly excel at keeping you on edge, the threat of sudden death is everywhere. And yes, I've only died the once so far, but I've feared death at every step along the way, and that's downright tiring. So that's 15 levels down, plus 2 secret levels, leaving 15 more to go. And those 15, oh man, it only gets more intense from here. So join me next time when I guarantee my death counter will go up rather drastically. Until then, get off my lawn.